Hello, my name is Kelly Newman. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the home buying process. For many people, purchasing a new home can be a very scary and intimidating thought. After all, purchasing a new home is one of the largest investments that you will ever make. The purpose of this video is that by the end you will have a much better understanding of the steps that are involved in purchasing a new home. I remember when I bought my very first home, I was scared and nervous and I had no clue where to even begin. So, where should you begin? Well, I can tell you this. You're going to need a very close ally, someone that's going to help steer you towards the homes that you're going to love more than life itself, someone that's going to help you find the best possible mortgage, and all in all help you through this very trying and emotional, financially taxing process. And that's where a really good realtor will make all the difference. So that's my first recommendation to you, is to find a very good realtor to work with. Shop around. Don't just settle for the very first agent that you talk to. Interview a couple different ones. Interview them much like you would somebody for a job process. After all, this person is going to be working for you and representing you in the purchase of your new home. You want somebody that is compatible to you. You want somebody that you can relate to. So it's very important to shop around and find the one that you like the best. So, what are some questions that you might ask these agents during this interview process? Well, the very first question you might have is, are there any fees up front for them helping me to purchase a house? And that answer is most often, no. Another question that you might have is, how long have they been in the real estate business? You know, somebody that's been doing this for a couple of years brings with them a wealth of knowledge and experience. However, somebody that's just getting started, well, they bring with them their time. Maybe their list of clientele is not that long, so therefore they can devote most of their time and attention to you. Another question that you might have is, how long has that person lived in this particular area? What is their experience and knowledge of this area? You know, a new agent that just recently got their license but has lived in the area their entire life is going to know a lot of information about the area versus an agent that's been doing it for years but is new to the area. That might be important to you. Another question that you might have is, does your agent do this full or part-time? You know, if this agent has another job and they're working at another job full-time and they're doing real estate part-time, well, maybe the times that they can show houses would conflict with the time that you're available. There might be an agent that might say after a certain hour in the evening, they don't respond to emails or phone calls or text. And that might be important to you too, because that might be the times when you are available. Another thing that you might want to know is, what happens if your real estate agent goes out of town on vacation? Well, is there going to be somebody else in the office that's going to cover for them? And in most cases, that answer is yes. They will assign somebody else to cover for them while they are gone, and they will let you know that person's name and number. So in case you want to make an offer or look at houses, if you have any questions, this other agent will be able to answer those for you while yours is out of town. So, now you have decided which agent you would like to use. You've narrowed it down to the one. And that agent will probably have you sign an exclusive agent agreement. What that basically means is that you are working exclusively with that one agent. Whenever you have questions about another house or you would like to see a house, you are going to call your agent. No matter who has it listed, no matter what company has it listed, your real estate agent is going to be able to show you any house. Even if it's a for sale by owner, call your agent and your agent will be able to make arrangements with that. If you go to an open house, be sure to take your agent's business card and hand it to the agent that is on duty at the open house so that there's no miscommunications between your agent and the other agent. So now you're going to start to talk to your agent about what is important to you in a new home. Maybe the square footage is important, maybe having a basement or a garage, maybe being in the country or living in town. Maybe there's a particular city that you want to live in. Maybe there is a particular school district that you would like to live in. maybe you don't have any children in school, but you know the importance of a resale value of living in a good school district. These are important issues to let your agent know, because then they're going to be able to set you up on an automatic email notification, so that when any new houses hit the market, you will automatically get notified in your email. You'll be able to determine whether or not you would like to see that house, and and your agent will be able to schedule a showing on that right away, so that you don't miss out on any homes. Another thing you're going to want to let your agent know is how soon are you looking to purchase. Maybe there's a timeline. Maybe you have a deadline of when you need to be in your house, and so your agent's going to need to know when you need to be at the closing table. Maybe you're just getting started out and you're not in any hurry at all. Maybe you're willing to wait for that perfect house to come along. Another thing that you're going to want to let your agent know is, have you spoken with a lender? Are you pre-qualified? What is the dollar amount that you are looking for? This is important also when they set you up on those automatic email notifications, because you don't want them to set you up on a notification that exceeds your budget. You also don't want to look at houses that are outside of your budget, because what happens if you fall in love with them? After that, no other house ever seems to measure up. So that's very important to let them know exactly how much you qualify for. Maybe you haven't been to the lender just yet because you're thinking, well, my credit score is not the best. I'm not sure that I'm ready to start looking, or I want to start looking, but I don't want to buy because my credit score is not right. Well, that's important to let your agent know as well, because your agent can refer you to a mortgage company that they could do a credit repair work for you. They can pull your credit. They can check to see what needs to be done. Maybe it's as simple as paying off a credit card to a certain dollar amount, and then that would get you where you need to be. Again, these are something that the mortgage company does on a daily basis, so letting your agent know is a wise thing, so that they can send you there and you could get into a new home sooner than you think possibly. So then you're going to go meet with a lender. What do you take when you go to see that lender? You're going to take 2 years of W-2 statements. You're going to take a month's worth of your paycheck stubs and a month's worth of your bank statements. And the reason you need to take this stuff with you is so that they're going to be pulling your credit, but then they're also going to be looking to see what your debt to income ratio is. Do you have enough money coming in versus what is going out? How much can you afford in your monthly payments with a house payment? Also, they're going to want to check to see, do you have enough money in the savings or checkings account to pay for your down payment? Do you have enough money to cover your closing costs? If you don't have enough money for a down payment, that might determine which loan program then that they would put you in. Most typically, at that point, they would be talking to you about different loan programs based upon your down payment and your credit. And so one thing that they may tell you is a conventional loan. Most often a conventional loan is 20% down, but there are conventional loans that only require as little as 5 or 10%. But always remember, anything less than 20% is going to require you to pay a mortgage insurance payment on top of your regular principal and interest payment. This is something that your lender will be able to discuss with you at that time as well and explain. So there are also government-backed loans. There's the VA loan, which is for veterans. There's an FHA loan, which is a loan with as little as 3.5% down. And there are also some areas have a first-time homebuyers loan, which is 0% down. But don't let that name trick you. It does not always necessarily mean that you have to be a first-time home buyer. In some cases, as long as you've never owned or as long as you have not purchased a house within the last 2 years, then you could possibly qualify for a first-time home owner's loan with 0% down. However, remember, because they are government-backed programs, they come with certain guidelines. So therefore, you have to qualify. You have to have a specific income. There has to be a specific number of people in the house based upon that income. Then also there's there's other requirements that your lender will be able to discuss with you on those as well. But then also the type of loan that you qualify for, your agent needs to know that, because not every house will qualify for that particular loan. If it's an older, outdated house without the electric and plumbing working in it, then that's not going to qualify for a first-time homeowner's loan. The government does not want to put you into a house that is not safe and habitable for you. Also, something as simple as a hand railing. Those are going to have to be on there. And a hand railing is not going to prevent you from getting your loan. That's just something that the seller will have to make sure is done. So these, again, are just things that the agent will know to look for when they know what type of loan that you are eligible for. When they're showing you houses, they're going to look around to make sure that this house does qualify for your particular loan. So now that you've got all that stuff done, you've got your financing so far lined up, and you know what you qualify for, you get to start the fun part of home shopping. So you're going to go out with your agent based upon those home searches that he or she's been sending you, and you're going to narrow down the ones that you want to see. So this may take your first time, you may fall in love with the first house, it may take a little while. Again, be patient because the right house is out there. Remember that this is a large investment and you don't want to just settle for just anything. So now you found the house that you totally love and you're ready to make an offer. So you and your agent at this point are going to sit down and you're going to discuss an asking price. How do you know how much you should ask? How do you know if the house is even overpriced or if it's priced just right? Well, this is something that your agent is going to be able to help you with. Your agent is going to be able to pull up what is called a CMA, or a comparable market analysis. What this does is this pulls up comparables, houses that are very similar to the houses that you're wanting to purchase that have recently sold within the last couple months. This will give your agent a good idea, a good understanding of what is a good asking price for the house. Again, remember whether or not what your lender said at the beginning, whether or not you need to ask in your purchase agreement for closing costs from the seller. Also remember that every purchase agreement is contingent upon financing and inspection. If for some reason you are unable to follow through with getting your financings, then you can back out of the deal. Also, if there's something major wrong with the inspection that you find out, then you can walk away because of that as well. So now, once you have your offer accepted between the buyer and the seller, congratulations, you have an accepted offer and it's time to move into escrow. This is basically where your house is being held for you until close. At this point, it is extremely crucial that you do not do any major purchases. You do not want to go out and buy a new car or lease a new car. You don't want to start making purchases for your new house as far as furniture or appliances. Do not do anything that's going to screw up your credit at this point that would inhibit you from getting your loan for your new home. So now we're moving into the final details. What the final details include is a home inspection. As we talked about earlier, you're going to want to hire a contractor, somebody to come around and look at the house. They're going to look at the roof, they're going to look at the age of the electrical and the plumbing, the age of the hot water heater, the furnace, the air conditioning. They're going to turn these things on and test them to make sure that they work as well as the appliances. They're going to look at the foundational structure. They're also going to look around for any visible signs of powder post beetles or termites or anything like that, and see if you need to have a recommendation from any professionals. Maybe you're purchasing a house in the country, so you need to have your well and septic inspected at this time as well. Also at this time, your lender is going to be starting their appraisal process. That is very similar to a CMA, where the lender will send out a certified appraiser to do a more in-depth, thorough search to make sure that the house is worth the value. Now let's go back to the appraisal or the inspection real quick. What do you do if something comes up in the inspection? How do you handle that? Well, you have a couple different options. You can either have them lower the asking price. You can have them do the repairs before closing. You can have them bring cash to the closing table so that you can do the repairs after closing the way you would like it done. And then also, as we mentioned before, you can also walk away from the deal if it's too major of an issue. Also at this time in the final process, the title company is going to be pulling title work to make sure that your title is clean and clear, that there are no deed restrictions against it. You will be able to get a copy of this title work before closing, and your agent will be able to look over that with you and to make sure that they don't see anything that could be potentially an issue that would keep you from going to the closing table on time. So those are the steps that are necessary in the final details. Now we are moving to closing day. So what this will happen, it will be between you and the seller and the seller's agent and your agent. The title company will be present, or maybe there's an attorney involved. So this will either take place at an attorney's office or at a title company. It may even take place at a real estate office, as long as a third-party person is there to do the closing work. So at this point, you're going to be signing your mortgage payment, your mortgage paperwork, any title work, because your title and all that will be registered and recorded with the courthouse. And if there's any additional real estate paperwork due at that time. So that's what you're going to be doing at closing. And then based upon your purchase agreement, this could be the day that you get your brand new set of house keys. So congratulations, you are now a new homeowner. Those are the simple steps to purchasing a new home. It's not so bad when you have an agent working with you that will follow you through step by step of the home buying process. I hope that this cleared up any confusion and this answered any questions that you might have had. I just want to say best of luck to you and congratulations in your brand new home.